Hi, it's Kai. Number 9. The Bloop. In 1997, an extremely loud, ultra-low frequency sound known as the bloop was picked up by some underwater listening stations. Normally, this wouldn't be all that bizarre. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, or the NOAA, picks up underwater sounds all the time. After all, that is the purpose of having underwater listening stations. However, what makes this noise so mysterious is the fact that it was heard at different listening stations over 3,000 miles apart. Many began speculating it belonged to a massive, unknown, deep-sea creature, maybe even Cthulhu. The loudest animal of all time is the blue whale, but analysts were quick to rule out the blue whale as the culprit. This sound was much, much louder. The bloop gets its name from how the audio sounded after the researchers sped the recording up by a factor of 16 to increase the audio. When listened to at the actual speed, it is a much longer, droning noise. Officially, the NOAA has stated that they believe the sound came from a phenomenon called ice quakes. The resulting sounds are that of the sea ice cracking and melting. However, since the bloop, no oceanic sound that loud has been recorded, and no one knows for sure what caused it. Could it really just be glacier sounds? Number 8. The Taos Hum. You would think that the town of Taos in north-central New Mexico would draw some curious people due to its famous residents, such as Dennis Hopper and Julia Roberts. But this small town is more well-known for its strange, ongoing hum. First reported in the early 1990s, these mystery sounds were supposedly heard by local residents. Although only 2% of the population are believed to be hearers, or those who claim to hear the hum, extensive testing to measure sounds and vibrations have, so far, detected nothing. Making reports even stranger? The fact that the hum has been described in a number of different ways. Some describe it as a whirring sound, while others describe it as a humming or a buzzing sound. Because not everyone hears the same thing, it adds to the mystery even more. Various theories have surfaced trying to explain these sounds, ranging from psychological to paranormal origins, as well as secret government experiments and underground UFO bases being some of the more bizarre explanations. Researchers believe that the hum may be more of a subjective experience, where people hear and process background noise differently than others. Could it be that those who say they hear the hum just have exceptionally great hearing? Could it be a case of mass auditory hallucination? Whether the Taos hum is real is yet to be proven, but this phenomena remains to fascinate both those who hear it and those who do not. Number 7. Dragon's Cave Anomaly. There are the usual cryptic mysteries that we all wish to solve, but the implications of some of these are so disturbing that we might not want to know the real answer just in case it uncovers something sinister. In an unknown year, but likely sometime in the early 1900s, land surveyors dropped a rope down a cave in Boone County, Arkansas. After the rope had descended 200 feet into the cave pipes, a horrendous hissing and roaring sound was heard, sounding as if a bizarre and enormous beast had woken up. Some believe that the roaring belonged to a cave-dwelling cryptid, or an apparently extinct or so far undiscovered species. Perhaps it was just a fellow surveyor playing tricks on their colleagues. The exact site of the eerie report has not been found, but the explorers of a second Arkansas cave heard a case of a landowner who had apparently gone insane with terror after entering a similar subterranean system and encountering something terrifying. Maybe there's a beast below, waiting to be uncovered, but we still don't know the true identity of what the sound was. Number 6. The Loneliest Whale in the World. In 1989, an array of U.S. Navy hydrophones began picking up strange sounds in the Pacific Ocean, similar to blue whale calls, but drastically different. The call was at a frequency of 52 hertz. To humans, this is low in tone, but it is far from blue whale calls, which range from 10 to 40 hertz. It was also suspected to be a fin whale, but they sing at just 20 hertz. Marine mammal researcher Bill Watkins of the Woods Hole Oceanic Institute made it his life goal to track and study the 52 hertz whale. Although he passed away in 2004, he left behind over a decade worth of data. Based on his findings, it is highly possible that this whale is, sadly, the only one of its kind. In his 12 years of research, Watkins only discovered one call like the previous recordings, and only one source of that call each season. This led some to suspect that the whale had no means of communicating with other whales. Thus, this creature has been dubbed the loneliest whale in mainstream media. Some suspect that the whale was a hybrid of two different whales, or perhaps the result of a mutation, resulting in its strange, higher frequency call. Others believe that the whale may just be producing a new type of call to be better heard or to impress potential mates, but there's little data supporting this. The last recordings of the whale were taken in 2004. No one knows whether the whale is even alive still. And until someone finds it again, we may never know why it sang its sad, lonely song. Why do you think the whale sounds like this? Let me know in the comments below. And if you're liking this video, be sure to hit the thumbs up and subscribe buttons if you haven't already. Number 5. Havana Syndrome. One of the strangest, unsolved mysteries goes back to 2016, when U.S. diplomats in Cuba were allegedly exposed to some kind of unknown weapon. The attacks involved American diplomats and officers with the CIA suffering from extreme vertigo and fatigue, along with loss of memory. This occurred after hearing a strange sound while in Havana. The condition has since been dubbed Havana Syndrome, and since 2016, dozens of other officials, even from countries like Canada, have been affected. What's really interesting is that, at first, Havana Syndrome was shrugged off as science fiction, but then it happened again in China in 2018. New evidence has pointed to the mysterious ailment as being caused by radio frequency energy. In other words, a kind of microwave radiation. According to the National Review, a report commissioned by the State Department found strong evidence that victims were the result of a directed pulse energy attack. Of course, scientists are not talking about the syndrome. We don't know if our scientists are familiar with this technology, if it's alien, or if it's being covered up, or if it could mean trouble in the future. Number 4. The ping. Up next is another strange noise emanating from the ocean. However, this one is referred to as more of a ping. This pinging noise was discovered roughly 75 miles northwest of the Inuit hamlet known as Igloolik in the Canadian Arctic. The sound appears to be originating from the bottom of the seafloor, and it's scaring all the sea life away. The area of the Arctic was once thriving with sea mammals, but now seems to be relatively empty. Boaters say they can hear the noise easily while passing through the area, and apparently the pinging can be heard through the hull of ships. Others have also heard it from the land. Members of the Legislative Assembly, Paul Quassa and George Quillot, noticed the lack of wildlife in the area over the past year, and have their own concerns and suspicions about the origins of the noise. Some believe it could be the vibrations of mining, blasting, or construction, but Paul claims no permits for that type of work have been granted in the area. Others believe that members of the Greenpeace environmental organization have artificially generated the sound to move the wildlife away from the hunting grounds, but there's no proof of this so far. Currently, Canada's Department of National Defence is well aware of the noise and is investigating it further. Number 3. BFlat black hole. The next strange sound comes all the way from outer space. You might be thinking that's impossible because sound can't travel through the vacuum of space. However, with sophisticated equipment, scientists were able to pick up on the pulsating wavelengths of electromagnetic vibrations deep in space. In September 2003, NASA's Chandra X-ray Observatory detected sound waves coming from a supermassive black hole. In the past, light and heat have been detected emanating from black holes, but never sound. The black hole itself is located in the Perseus cluster, which is roughly 250 million light-years from Earth. The sound coming from this black hole is described as B-flat in pitch. However, no human would be able to hear this note, as it's 57 octaves lower than middle C, and it is at a frequency over 1 million times deeper than human hearing can perceive. Researchers studying black holes believe this detection of sound waves is an incredible discovery. Some believe studying the sound waves may lead to determining how galaxy clusters grow. The sound waves could be a vital heating mechanism in the growth of clusters. What exactly causes the sound, though, remains a mystery. Number 2. Aurora clapping sounds. You've probably heard of and even seen pictures of the northern lights shining in the night sky. But have you ever heard them? The northern lights of Earth are more than just a dazzling light show. They also generate their own strange applause, too. Surprisingly enough, the Aurora Borealis appears to make clapping or crackling sounds on some nights. It took the researchers from Aalto University in Finland 12 years, but they finally managed to record evidence of the claps in 2004. Previously, it was believed that auroras were too high in altitude for any noise they might make to be heard by people. Since then, it's been discovered that the noises come from much closer to the ground. Researcher Untu Lane and his team were able to triangulate the origin of the noises in the sky by positioning their equipment carefully. The team set up 3 different microphones in an area known for its high auroral activity. What they got from it was only an 8-second audio clip of the noises, but it was solid evidence that Aurora Borealis was making a clapping noise. It is still not known what exactly is causing the noise. Further research is needed. The common theory is that the same energized particles from the sun that produce the aurora are making the noises as well, but for now, it remains a mystery. Number 1. UVB 76. So far, everything on this list was selected because no one can seem to explain it. Coming in at number 1 on the list, though, is a series of sounds that someone out there could explain, but likely never will. Located in Russia is a strange radio signal that has been broadcasting an odd buzzing sound for over 40 years. This sound is not just white noise or a technological error, but a distinct signal being broadcast on the high frequency of 4,625 kilohertz band. Every so often, the buzzing sound is interrupted by a voice reading off names and numbers. This radio signal is referred to as UVB 76, after the identification given by the radio station itself during one of the short voice messages. Although identified in the 1970s, the first recordings of the station were in 1982. 24 hours a day, the station broadcasts a repetitive buzzing sound that goes off roughly every 2 seconds. Many believe it was originally run by the Soviet military. However, following the fall of the Soviet Union, the radio station continues to remain active and seems to be becoming even more active. Prior to 2010, there could be spans of months or even years without voice messages being broadcast. But during 2010, there were claims that nearly monthly coded voice messages were broadcast. What's even stranger is that the broadcast location has changed since it began. It is now believed to be broadcasting from somewhere in Western Russia, and some urban explorers have claimed to have visited the previous location of the broadcasts, stating that it's an abandoned military installation. There are even claims that a logbook for the UVB 76 broadcast was found, but there's no evidence of this. Many believe it is an old Russian dead hand system. This way, in the event of a nuclear war that would stop the signal from broadcasting, the system would automatically launch a counterstrike of nuclear missiles, ensuring mutual destruction. But for now, UVB 76 remains unexplained. Thanks for watching. Have you heard any of these mysterious sounds? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. See you next time. Bye.